In one of the last speeches he gave before the end of the Clone Wars, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine labeled Seleucami, together with Felucia and Megiddo, part of the Triad of Evil. 3 separatist stronghold worlds that were selected as the top targets for the Outer Rim sieges. But while Felucia and Megiddo had been battlefields for most of the war, Seleucami was new as a priority target. At the end of the war, it was subjected to a 5-month siege and one of the most grueling battles of the entire conflict. Just 2 years earlier, it had been entirely unremarkable. Before the Techno Union and the Morgokai Shadow Army set up their fortresses there, Seleucami was just another separatist backwater world. Even then, the siege of Seleucami was not the first battle fought on the planet. In early 21 BBY, Seleucami's orbit and backcountry briefly became battlefields due to an encounter between General Grievous and the Republic fleet. In this video, we'll be telling the story of that battle.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
The story of this battle begins in the Arda system in the Gordian Reach, a neutral world far from civilization near Yavin 4. In the wake of the Second Battle of Geonosis, Jedi Council member Eeth Koth began patrolling the region aboard his flagship, the Venator-class Star Destroyer Steadfast, looking for hints of separatist activity. But on one patrol, he was ambushed by a separatist fleet led by General Grievous himself. With 3 Munificent-class star frigates in his flagship, a Rikucent-class destroyer, Grievous easily overpowered Koth's forces and boarded the Steadfast. There, he defeated Koth in a lightsaber duel and took him prisoner, destroying the Steadfast and wiping out the rest of the Jedi Master's crew. After this decisive victory, Grievous couldn't help but gloat. He sent a transmission to the Jedi Council taunting them over the capture of one of their own. As he tortured Koth, he promised that the Jedi Master's death would be slow and painful. It was a disturbing message, but as the Jedi Council reviewed the footage, Commander Wolf noticed something. Koth was using hand signals to communicate a secret message. They quickly deduced that the message was a set of coordinates leading to Seleucami, which, presumably, was where Grievous's fleet was located. Hoping to rescue Master Koth before Grievous murdered him, Jedi Generals Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Adi Gallia assembled the fleet and set off for Seleucami at once. Little did they know that this was exactly as Grievous had planned. His message to the Jedi Council had been bait. He knew full well that Koth would likely find a way to leak his location. Indeed, he was counting on it, because while Grievous was pleased with himself for capturing a member of the Jedi Council, he considered Eeth Koth to be a lesser prize. Grievous wanted to capture Kenobi and Skywalker, and he believed the threat of Koth's death would be all that was necessary to lure them into battle against his fleet. He was, of course, correct. Kenobi and Skywalker weren't stupid, however. They suspected that Grievous hoped to capture them, and they planned to use that to their advantage. They came to Seleucami with a moderately sized fleet, consisting of 3 Venator-class Star Destroyers, 1 Acclimated-class assault ship, 3 Consular-class corvettes, and 1 Architant-class light cruiser, with V-19 Torrents and BTLB Y-wings for support. Admiral Yularen would command the fleet from one of the Star Destroyers, while Kenobi would take the much more vulnerable Architans as his flagship. Kenobi let Grievous know which ship he was on after arriving from hyperspace, engaging in a brief bit of banter with the general before Grievous cut off communications. Kenobi hoped that Grievous would attempt to board his ship, where he would be distracted while Skywalker and Gallia boarded his flagship with an Eta-class shuttle. If the plan worked out, Kenobi would trap Grievous aboard his cruiser, while Skywalker and Gallia rescued Eeth Koth. At first, the plan seemed to be working smoothly. After cutting off communications, Grievous ordered his ships to open fire on the Republic fleet, while Yularen had his ships do the same. While the Star Destroyers and Assault Ship held back and peppered Grievous's fleet with turbolaser fire, the corvettes and Kenobi's light cruiser moved in to engage the Separatists at a closer range. The corvettes began a flanking attack to sow chaos behind Separatist lines, while Kenobi's cruiser closed on Grievous's flagship. Grievous had his crew pull the destroyer up alongside Kenobi's ship, catch it in a tractor beam, and prepare to board the cruiser. Grievous then set off to personally lead the boarding party, leaving the naval battle under the command of tactical droid TV-94. Meanwhile, Skywalker and Gallia brought their shuttle out of hyperspace, docking on Grievous's flagship without detection. They boarded the Separatist destroyer and made their way to the bridge, fighting waves of battle droids as they went. At the same time, Grievous was leading a team of commando droids and Magna Guards in boarding the Republic cruiser. The ship's defenders were quickly overwhelmed, and Grievous soon came face to face with Kenobi, whom he engaged in a lightsaber duel on the cruiser's bridge. During the battle, he revealed that he had anticipated Kenobi's plan. He was well aware that Skywalker had boarded his ship, and he had set a trap for the Jedi Knight on his destroyer's bridge. When Skywalker and Gallia reached the bridge, they were ambushed by commando droids, while TV-94 revealed that they had been expected. But the Jedi were able to fight their way out of Grievous's trap. The tactical droid began to torture Master Koth to death to distract the Jedi, but Skywalker and Gallia were able to destroy him and all the commando droids before Koth was killed. The two Jedi rescued Koth and then set out to make their escape. Meanwhile, Grievous was forced to retreat from his duel with Kenobi and attempted to flee back to his ship. Kenobi ordered the cruiser's crew to sever the docking connection with the destroyer, hoping to trap Grievous on the ship. Grievous, meanwhile, ordered his crew to open fire on the cruiser's engine to prevent it from breaking away. As the cruiser came under fire and Grievous's destroyer began suffering damage from the battle with Yularen's fleet, Kenobi and Commander Cody pursued Grievous into the docking tube, where they were joined by Adi Gallia. But the damage to the cruiser caused the tube to rupture, distracting the Jedi and allowing Grievous to escape. He made for a C-9979 landing craft bound for Saleucami, while Kenobi, Gallia, and Cody met up with Skywalker and Koth, who were preparing to flee back to the Republic fleet aboard the Jedi's shuttle. Both Grievous and the Jedi fled the destroyer, but as they made their respective escapes, Kenobi's cruiser was destroyed. Debris from the explosion damaged Grievous's landing craft, sending it hurtling towards Saleucami. Grievous was forced to abandon it via an escape pod, leaving him trapped in Saleucami's wilderness. The Jedi were able to get Eeth Koth back to their fleet, but the battle wasn't over yet. With Grievous trapped on Saleucami, they still had a chance to capture him, and Kenobi rallied a small landing party with the hopes of doing exactly that. Skywalker, meanwhile, joined Yularen in command of the naval battle. As Kenobi set off to Saleucami's surface in pursuit of Grievous, an additional 4 Venator-class Star Destroyers joined the fight, giving the Republic fleet an overwhelming advantage. With both Grievous and TV-94 out of the fight, the Separatist fleet was leaderless, and all of its ships were destroyed or fled the battle in short order. On the ground, Kenobi, Captain Rex, and a team of clones began a manhunt for General Grievous, searching the landing sites of several escape pods that had crashed across Saleucami's backcountry. During the search, Captain Rex was severely wounded by a sniper and left with civilian farmers to heal. Rex and one of those farmers, a clone deserter named Cutler Quain, ended up having to defend the farm from commando droids. Meanwhile, Kenobi managed to find Grievous's trail and caught up to the general just as he was signaling a shuttle to escape the planet with. Despite their best efforts, Kenobi and the clones were ultimately unable to prevent Grievous from boarding the shuttle and escaping Saleucami. The droid general would live to fight another day. Following Grievous's escape and Captain Rex's recovery, Republic forces withdrew from Saleucami, and they made no attempt to wrest control of the system from the Separatists. They would return a year and a half later, however, this time drawn not by the hope of capturing General Grievous, but for the fear of the Separatist clone army that was being grown in the planet's lava caves. but we've done a video on that battle already. So that was our look at the Battle of Seleucami, which you might remember from Season 2 of Star Wars The Clone Wars. But what do you think? Are there other Clone Wars battles you'd like us to discuss? What did you think of this one? Free to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.